energy, so I'm really backing them.
Well, that's fair enough. I'm back in Hyperia, and that's why Hyperia is sticking with me for the cast right now. Team Bliss in blue, Wildcard are in orange, and we are already underway, as you can see. Once again, Team Bliss, they're playing spread out, they're playing far apart, and I think that might be what holds them back at the end of the day, Hyperia. I don't know if Team Bliss stylistically is going to match up well against a Wildcard team that likes to get in their opponent's face.
I think people are underestimating Wildcard. I think there were too much thought about last season's Wildcard, where admittedly they didn't really show up the way they wanted to due to circumstances. Sicky, he has got motivation. Of course, when you have a disappointing split, you want to prove yourself even more badly the next one.
I do agree, and while Sicky definitely can be that playmaker, it's going to be Cabo pressing forward and striking first. Team Bliss are up 1-0.
Zen changed as well. They're all changing. He's put on a different shirt. He's just done it for the show.
He's going to. We're going to see the whole Bliss catalog by the end of this event, right? To see everything they have on offer. They're good-looking jerseys.
Oh, certainly. It's just a marketing technique by them. Very smart. You got 2 games in a day, show of 2 jerseys.
Absolutely, and maybe get yourself a couple of interviews as well after a couple wins. Look, that goal from Team Bliss, I do feel like highlights probably one of the better ways they can beat Wildcard. While Wildcard always looks great, offensively, that's an open net. Hold on, Mock, no! Isn't going to be able to get it in time.
It was open, but the turn-in took a bit of time. Caveman Ben still tries to rectify that. To no avail thus far. And Sicky actually going underneath. There's actually going to soar on in. This is chaos.
That was chaos, but that's where Wildcard's offense likes to thrive, and this is what I'm talking about. They'll try to get in your face. They'll try to get those touches in front of the net, or, well, I guess in this situation, fake those touches right in front of the net and allow you to misstep, misplay. Wildcard is able to equalize it, sitting 1-1.
Ooh, Zen almost forcing that through entirely on the kickoff. Vortex. He's just going to be patient and drop back far into the hands of Zen. Send it into Colbo. Sam Solomit. It's going to be easily put to the side.
As we now cross the pitch up as well, Caveman Ben challenges Cabo, does lose out, but Sicky's already behind it. This is interesting from Bliss because we're seeing them play a lot further forward than what we did when they were playing against the Bandits before, and that historically has been sort of a nice answer to Wildcard. Defensively, they can make the touches, they can make the saves that they need to, but when you pressure them, those touches get a little bit inaccurate, and then you can kind of follow it through. But now Team Bliss is forced on that back foot, and that's perhaps where they might struggle.
And Colbo, you're going to be bringing it onto the front foot. Look to return that favor. It's 50. It's relatively uneventful thus far, except for that just soaring on in. That was exquisite.
Yeah, as we watch this one once more, Vortex from the box, just lobbing it all the way through, posting it and in. Again, I'm going to throw it back to the start of the day. We're seeing way too many of these clears straight down the middle. Not necessarily the hardest hit shots, but finding their way still into the net.
They should never be allowed to go that far. Zed also gets stops here, isn't allowed to go any further. Has to be taller than this to ride the attack, and well, unfortunately for him, he's not tall enough.
Not quite this time around. Zen swinging to miss. Caveman Ben will demo him. Has punishment. Cabo, though, still finds the redirect, and Sicky overcommit on the save. 3-1 lead for Bliss.
This is an impossible scenario. The ball was in the center. Sicky had to go up for that directly, but probably was expecting Cabo to arrive early, and at that point, whether Cabo hits it or misses it, Sicky's probably not getting it.
Something about that goal blew Zen's mind as well. I'm not sure you caught that, but he did the full mind-blown sort of poof reaction. And I think it's just the fact that they've scored now 2 goals in a row from their own box. Essentially just backboard lobs out of Vortex. 2 of them have gone in. That second one, maybe there's a bit of a fake involved as well, but don't tell me they find a third. This time Caveman Ben does get the touch on it.
What I could see being a wrong thing for Wildcard is to be stuck in their old series ways where things weren't working out against Direwolves, but that wasn't because Wildcard did them badly. It was because Direwolves did them better. So I want to see them stick to the same game plan, but they're just not.
Oh, they haven't been able to really get anything going, it feels like. Team Bliss doing such a good job at playing the aggressor, staying in Wildcard's face. And what I'm liking from Team Bliss is they look a lot tighter in terms of spacing than what we saw from them previously. They're playing close to each other, particularly when going for these challenges. They're definitely ensuring that they're going to be the next team to get to the ball. Like the next player will be the next one to get there first. And as a result, they're forcing Wildcard on that back foot. They're keeping Wildcard, you know, a little bit off balance. And that's where Wildcard has struggled historically in the past. So Team Bliss definitely coming in with the game plan, and we're seeing it work.
They're finding a lot of space. For example, this, but that touch by Siki, and all of a sudden, it's almost going into the back of their own net. They're getting space. They're just not quite using it to the effect that they could. That's probably due to first game vibes. Bit of inconsistency.
Perhaps it's first game vibes. Perhaps it's, as Jake was kind of saying before, though, when you lose that first series, coming back, sometimes things can be so difficult. 5 seconds remaining. Ben won't be able to find the double touch. Desperation shot from Siki, collected by Vortex, and game number 1 goes in favor of Team Bliss.
A relatively smooth sailing one. It is indeed a different Team Bliss. I didn't even notice that in the tiny cam. Okay. Yeah. Looks good. Looks good, Zed.
It is. It's the pink uniform. I mean, that's their colors, the pink and black, right? Before we kind of saw more of the... actually, I think it was more of a T-shirt before. Now it's a proper jersey as they get further and further into the event. I think if they win this one, then Zen will get the hat. If you win that, you get the foam fingers. And then when you have the foam fingers, you can't really play on KBM anymore, and that's where they falter.
The phone fingers or the foam fingers?
Foam, you know, like
foam.
The giant,
okay,
like
yeah,
the number one
Bliss. Yeah, that would look brilliant, to be fair. A massive pink one. It would draw attention, just like their performances here as well.
You know what? When we see lands happen again on the more regular, I want to see teams come and like make their own foam fingers. That needs a place in esports, I feel like, because we don't have enough of, like, you know, novelty apparel like you see in a lot of traditional sports.
And where they have to be sectioned as well, because otherwise they're going to start beefing with each other with their opponent.
Oh, that'd be... I don't want that. I don't want to see...
that is traditional sports, though.
True. That is traditional sports, yes. But, I mean, you know, we want to capture the fun stuff, right? And have that carry over, have that carry through.
Fair.
Still, great start for Team Bliss in this one. They're going to be up 1-0 in the series. Kicking off game number 2. Looking for more of the same. Zen so fast off that kickoff. Sticks with the ball all the way to the corner. Wildcard are able to corral it, though. Cabo still applies that pressure forward. Still looking to try and force something through. Eventually, though, Mock will be able to steal possession away.
If Wildcard don't change the way they're playing, the rest of the series is just futile, as they were not looking on point in that previous game. They have to adapt. I wonder what they're going to come out with. They still have their timeout, so they should be all good.
Yeah, I think it's a situation you use the timeout once you drop 2-0. So if Wildcard do drop this game, do expect to see that timeout come through then. At the moment, though, Team Bliss, I don't think the ball has actually gone to their side of the pitch for this first minute just yet. They have controlled everything thus far. Wildcard struggling to find that clear. Mock will be the one now to lead the charge, but Caveman Ben sitting back on 100 boost, now is going to play it forward, tries to get the pitch off the ceiling, instead goes for the reset and winds up losing control of the ball.
It's a nasty boost still there by Team Bliss, but they're still not breaking through into the attack to actually put that boost steal into effect. Now there it goes, the attack for that boost steal. A long time ago already. It was pointless. Kobo trying to turn in properly. That looked very awkward.
That did look awkward, but it's still not quite there yet, as we see a challenge from underneath to set up Siki. Ball through that side wall, collected by Vortex. Mock on that back foot, throws it up. Vortex able to catch it. And again, it's pressure, but it's being read this time by Wildcard. Neither team putting real threatening shots down, each just sort of trying to find gaps in their opponent's defense.
Mock with the cut in. Vortex there to mitigate any damage done by that. Siki, he needs to show his form, but gets baited out by Kobo. It's a decent bait, but Siki still is able to continue the attack and potentially prevail. He won't prosper this time. Caveman Ben also off target. Siki gets saved by Vortex.
And now it's Mock on the back foot, who probably has to watch out for Team Bliss. But look how much space is suddenly being given, realistically, by both these teams. And this was a trend that we saw happen last time during Team Bliss's game, where, I don't know, the pace slowed down enough where each team was looking to play more on that back foot, and neither team, either Bliss or at the time Bandits, were willing to get...
Yes? Good idea. It was a great idea by Wildcard. I saw an attack happening, and I saw it sprouting, and then quickly stamped on them with their own boot.
Well, I mean, I liked how Wildcard was trying to get a bit further forward, though. I liked how they were trying to get in Bliss's space. I agree. I think that's going to be the answer to this series, just like last time against Team Bliss. I feel people are just giving Bliss too much space to work with, and I'd love to kind of pick the team's brains. Like, what is Team Bliss showing that is causing teams to play so far back against them?
I think Bliss themselves play so far back as well. Now pass into the center. Vortex rotates in time. That's everybody baited in. Caveman Ben has to dive from behind to clear that away. Vortex still wants to up the pressure here. And off to the backward. Maybe a read coming through. Kobo is there. Kobo finishes.
Perhaps the answer is just how fast they can find counterattacks like this, I fear ya. Vortex just kept that ball so tight along the wall on the pass setup for Cabo. It was kind of like a waterfall set up at the 1/3 mark, and then they follow it through. So a 1-0 lead once again for Bliss, 100 seconds left on the clock.
The Team Bliss strategy is very offbeat. It doesn't really make sense, but it works to perfection, exactly like this Vortex scores.
Yeah, they only have a couple hits, right? But they know what they are, and they're executing them pretty consistently today. I love the Vortex up the middle shot. It's been money. It was money last time we saw them, and it's money again. Team Bliss now up 2-0.
Money plays in NA, though, mate.
No, Money actually casts for ground zero.
Yeah, no, fair. There's a lot of people name themselves Money, yet there was only one named Cash.
See, that's where the smart dollars are right there. Sicky across the middle thinks they have Vortex beat, but it's just barely stopped.
Vortex, so they're getting no guap on the side of Wildcard, no goals either to back that up. They need, if they want that extra money, they certainly have to win. This is a knockout match.
It is. It's do or die, and right now, Team Bliss, they're doing what they need to do to keep themselves in this 1-2-0 lead for the team in blue. Ball still on that orange side as well. Wildcard, it's been a bit of a struggle for this squad today, and unless they get some momentum going right now, I have a feeling we're going to see that timeout used in about 30 seconds.
This is an opportunity. Zen goes up early, and that was not the bounce Wildcard was expecting. Thus they have to relinquish this attack. Hopefully, or another one, or Sicky doesn't care, and there's an opportunity.
Yep, they find it over the middle. Ben just stealing that ball away from Zen, and this time Sicky ready for it. First one to the play, 112 off the ground. Now 22 seconds left on the clock. Wildcard, they're going to throw everything at this.
Here they go, out to the side. This is an opportunity. Mock goes past the booth, but he could have used that one. And they want to continue the attack. Relatively easy save by Zen.
Yeah, and now without the boost, they have to fall back and try one more time. The lob shot is there, but way too choreographed. Zen will be the one who clears it to the opposite side of the pitch. Mock has to go for a squishy, but Zen bumps Sicky, and that allows the ball to hit the ground. Team Bliss go up 2-0.
Well, Mock was in a terribly awkward position there. No real opportunity, no boost to back it up. Had to go for the inside out. It was overall a decent ending phase.
It's like as if we didn't miss a beat.
Oh, you hear the countdown starting in the background, and Combo, he doesn't care. They've got everything fixed. 3 seconds in, they're in the lead.
As we said, have not missed a beat. Bliss, they look dominant in games 1 and 2. Well, they're straight back where they left off. A quick call 3 seconds in, and Team Bliss still looking like they have Wildcard's number.
There was like a gradient in Team Bliss's team cams. That was brilliant. And you're going to have to keep an eye out for it. But Wildcard, they need to find some brilliancy of their own on this pitch.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it's been a bit of a rough showing for Wildcard so far. Granted, they've had the dream timeout situation, right? You're able to call that timeout, and then you get sort of that technical difficulty pause. In theory, you should be set for a complete mental reset. I imagine that gets challenged, though, when straight away you're already on that back foot and the shots that you do take are stopped on the goal line by Cabo.
And it was Zen with the internet troubles on Wildcard. They just got a bit fortunate with that one. That they are down by a goal directly from the get-go, so any momentum they could have gained, they could have talked about what a brilliant camera angle that was. Caveman Ben attacking it.
Yeah, it's still Wildcard looking for a way to get that ball into the net, but the defense from Bliss actually quite impressive so far for this first minute, and they've been impressive so far in this series. That save from Sicky, impressive as well. Vortex tries to keep it in the box. Mock will clear it out. However, just to go back to that previous point, I mean, the Bliss defense, we saw in that last game, it was 11 shots, 1 goal through, and then Bliss only needed 3 to win. Has Bliss kind of transformed into a more defensive team under the sort of guidance of Zen?
Ooh, I think they're showing some resemblance of that, giving a lot of space. Now Zen wants to make this awkward, but they're giving a lot of space and thus are being forced back into defense, but somehow that also creates space for them in the offensive. And as I said, they've got a very peculiar playstyle to play against, and teams are struggling to figure it out.
Yeah, that they are definitely kind of it's an unusual approach, as Cabo may have just nearly snuck another one through. That ball barely hits the post. Sicky able to corral it, yet here comes Zen. A bit more of that delicate touch, and now Ben has to play forward to Sicky. It's so uncanny how Bliss, it feels like you give them space, they get to play around with the ball, but then as soon as you pressure them, they just find a gap in your defense, a gap in your rotation, and always seem to punish it. We do keep playing this one forward right here. Zen gonna pop one up off of the ceiling, looking to stay with the play. Now Caveman Ben tries to follow through underneath, but it's Cabo who will find the clear.
Mock slowly to the side. Well, Zen tries to trail this one down. Off to the backboard, a relatively routine save from Ben. He pops it off to the side. Vortex, he bumps Caveman, and then Caveman returns the favor.
Yes, it does force Sicky towards that backboard right there. Vortex will pop one up. Mock staying with the play, though actually dribbling it all the way towards that middle of the field, where Sicky will corral it towards the backboard again, but that backboard defense from Team Bliss constantly disrupting Wildcard, not letting them set up the place they want. Ben had a chance, but instead of taking the shot, just kind of dribbled it right into the waiting grasp of Vortex.
Caveman wanted a pinch there, Mock into the center. Caveman can just finish it off and tie it all up.
That was a big goal, I feel like, out of Ben right there. Mock was finally able to find some usable piece of property on that backboard right there. Ben trusted the team, already playing it forward. And for the first time in what feels like a while, maybe momentum is on the Wildcard side.
Sicky. And they're going to have to go back in defense for now. Sicky with a breakaway. 50 on Cabo. Sicky still staying close, but then the follow-up is heinous.
And that demo might have just opened the doorway. Cabo puts it in. 2-1 lead for Bliss.
Spice. That was spicy. This redirect by Zen after the bump.
It's the demo game. I'm loving this adjustment. I'm loving this trend we're seeing from so many of our top teams right now in the region, how they're getting physical. They're hunting for these demos. And yes, that's been a thing in the past that this region has done, but it hasn't felt like to this extent. It hasn't felt this successful in the fall split. And to see it happening in our very first regional here in winter, it's great stuff.
Yeah, everybody has less haplophobia. It's the fear of being touched. So they just want to get more physical. Mock just does it cleanly.
Yeah, Mock, I mean, you could argue Caveman Ben was kind of, trying to find that bump in the middle of the pitch, but it was all that touch right there from Mock. Straight over the top, tie ball game once more. Under a minute to go. Kind of get that golden goal vibes. Wildcard cannot afford to go down 3-0 to Bliss. If Bliss gets this, most likely they get the game, and they're going to be hunting for the goal first.
Wildcard, they need to lick their finger, put it up into the air, and find out where the wind is coming from, because they need to catch a ton of it to accelerate into this matchup. Caveman Ben instead freestyles on the corner without Boldo. It's more breakdancing there, but we enter the final 30 seconds. This is a crucial game for Wildcard.
It is Wildcard Gaming. They might be able to end this one in regulation if they can make this attack work. Ben tried to use that backboard, but the rest of Wildcard was playing so far back. Zen was able to press forward and challenge it. Still, the challenge did go Wildcard's way. They're still hunting. Cabo intercepts it right above that corner. Now Ben dishes it down to Sicky. Shot disrupted by Cabo. Ben's follow-up shot a bit too wide. Ball hits the ground, and we have overtime.
And overtime, that Wildcard have to win, otherwise they'd have to reverse a sweep. Team Bliss, a team that's looking unbreakable at this moment by anything, by a massive timeout, by continuous pressure. They won't crack. There is another hammer strike by Wildcard.
Yeah, looking to strike that one into the heart of Team Bliss. Sicky has a chance. The bump is there. No! Cabo somehow is able to avoid Caveman Ben, and Bliss stay alive.
Caveman Ben, they're keeping it into the attack though, at the hands of this man. Vortex, able to clear it out. Muck into the center. Cabo there to intercept. Sicky doesn't really get anything done.
Not this time around. Ben's going to try to cross up. Mock Cabo intercepts it away, but that doesn't lead to the pressure Bliss needs. In fact, Sicky may have beat out Vortex. Zen puts it in a dangerous spot, and Ben puts it through. Wildcard Gaming get one back. It is now a 2-1 series.
They're playing more aggressive. They're going on the bumps. They're being physical, and it's working out for a Wildcard. A crucial match clutched into their claws as they still have a long road ahead of them.
That they do. Still plenty of games in the future. I mean, they have to win 3, right? And they can only afford to lose 2. That's basic understanding of the situation right now. However, that mental reset, that internet issue, unfortunately, that may have plagued Team Bliss a bit, kind of feels like it opened the door back for Wildcard. It was a hard-fought victory, don't get me wrong. I mean, this time Team Bliss was actually putting, more than 3 shots on target. But Wildcard, they're still leading the possession charge. They're still kind of out-shooting and out-pressuring Bliss at times, and at least this time they're able to get the result that they wanted.
After the first goal, literally within 3 seconds, I thought Wildcard were doomed. I thought it was all over already, and after that, it was relatively quiet for both sides. They were both a bit eerie and both a bit awkward to try and find out, okay, what can we actually do? How are we feeling? What are the opponents countering with?
I think the thing to be taking note as well, to kind of expand what you're saying further, is look where all of Wildcard goals came from. They were all touches right in front of the net, and you compare that to where Bliss sets up their goals, it's a lot further back. I don't mean to sound a bit repetitive, but they always seem to set themselves up on their own half of the pitch and then follow it through in some manner. Either it's a lob or someone who's cheated forward. Each of these teams offensively rely on such different scenarios to get their goals ahead. It's how come stylistically it's such a weird matchup, and you could argue that Wildcard might be a bit more traditional in terms of how they approach it, but Bliss has been doing this, I feel like, to a fair few teams so far in this first event, and you had to be mindful of it as well. It's not as if they're playing the game incorrectly. They're still ahead in this series.
Pass from Sicky. It was a banger towards Mo. You're not being repetitive whatsoever, because it's just true. It's a point we have to keep on hammering home. It's just reiteration of what's going on. Team Bliss, they are just factually more in the defensive end, giving a lot more space, which brings for an interesting matchup, especially now that Wildcard were able to at least grasp one game. Now they need to expand upon that with another one here.
Yeah, and we'll see if they're going to be able to find that one in, as Cabo will get that brush up into the corner, at least until Sicky will steal it away. Zen now shot target. Saved by Mock. Vortex shuts it down the middle of the pitch, and Mock kind of was left in an awkward position. That means Sicky will be the next player forward. Swing and a miss from Ben. Cabo with a chance. Shot target. Saved by Sicky once more.
Mock in an awkward position. Call it Mockward. As it goes over the top. Vortex. Clear K-Man Ben as well. Now that's only one player left, and it resets over it. Vortex. He rights my wrongs.
Oh my goodness. He even got bumped on the setup as well, and then makes Mock look Mockward, as you would so call it. Great goal out of Vortex right there, bringing smiles back to the faces of Team Bliss. They're now out in front 1-0.
That was a beautiful play, and that one could have a big potential to be pulled back on your screen later today in the top 3 in the wild card. They are yet again down by a goal.
Vortex is so gifted at any sort of title that they happen to touch, it feels like. I mean, again, a fantastic goal right there. Now Mock is going to try to press it back up the other way. Caveman Ben will play midfield, try to intercept it off him, but it's Cabo from underneath who actually gets broken up. Now Ben tries to pass it back, gets bumped off the play. Siki versus Zen, and Zen will run out with possession, takes it over the top of Ben. Again, Mock alone on defense, can't make the touch, but Zen also can't put it on target.
I love the pass by Caveman Ben. It was cheeky, it was daring, and this is also daring, cheeky, but also saved. Caveman Ben. Oh, that's a bit of an awkward one there.
It was not the most ideal situation, but wildcard still not done yet. Ben shot straight into Vortex. Not going to find its way through this time around, although no one from Team Bliss really wants to play that one forward. Ball left in no man's land for a little bit too long for comfort. Eventually, Bliss actually is able to turn it around for more offensive pressure. I don't understand how they keep coming out on top in those types of situations.
It's magic. They've got a hat right there. They're pulling doves out of them, left, right, and center. I still don't know how they've got that many cages up as Kobo sneaks through the cracks.
133 off of this pinch. Look at that in traffic, so clean. That was a near perfect pinch right there. Team Bliss in form right now, over halfway through our 4th game. They're looking to tush this to match point.
Well, they don't want to have any wasted time here. They're about efficiency. That means getting rid of your opponent as quickly as possible, leaving them in your dirty air. And they are currently into the defensive end of our wildcard. They still have not found a consistent way to deal with the space Team Bliss has given them.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to find it. This time it's going to be Vortex, though, finding the goal again through traffic. And again, the wildcard defense, as soon as they get pressured, they just look disorganized. They looked a bit confused, and Bliss able to capitalize on it. Of course, it was Vortex again. 3-0 lead now for Bliss. They are back in control of this series.
It's ridiculous. It seems on the side of wildcard, they tell themselves, look, we have time, we can take this easily, and then all of a sudden they stop keeping track until they're getting challenged, they panic, they give it away, such as this. Caveman Ben, entirely unchallenged, gives away possession to Zen. Team Bliss are on the attack, and, well, they very well could score.
It's just been so difficult for wildcard to find those chances to actually push it through. Bliss really appearing like the more complete team, and again, when you play forward against Bliss, they're going to find that gap. They're going to press it back that other way. Vortex looks for the pass back. This time, Siki actually finds an interception, and maybe a counterattack can go wildcard's way. Not quite. Zen doing what he does best, playing that backward, stealing it away, pushing it up the field, and here comes Vortex. 4-0 lead in favor of Bliss.
Getting hunted down, Caveman Ben, yet again. He's just not getting any space. Every single time he thinks he has, he just gets hunted quickly. Like a deer in the headlights, he gets caught out, and Team Bliss, they're capitalizing, they're feasting upon it.
The play style of Bliss is just working so well against that of Wildcard, it feels like, and Wildcard struggling to find the answer, and again they play it forward. All of a sudden they get exposed, the counterattack punishes them. They play back, well, Team Bliss is just able to control the tempo, control the ball. It's like Team Bliss is just making Wildcard dance and move. They're the puppet masters. Hi, Furia. Bliss are the puppet masters. Wildcard has become the puppet. Caveman Ben just being bullied in that regards, and now it's going to be match point in favor of the team in blue.
I absolutely love the playstyle of Team Bliss. I already liked it for being back on defense, but they're giving so much space into the attack. Sure, you might have a few opportunities like this given away to your opponent, but usually this is not the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it if you get the win, right? Like, you only need to survive by 1 goal in this situation. More likely than not, it's going to be 3. But if you're playing that aggressive style, the goals that get you don't really matter as much as the points you're putting on the board. And a 4-point game against Wildcard, that's a strong showing. That's probably going to be enough to get a win more often than not. Team Bliss now, they're going to be 1 game away from putting themselves into the top 4 of our first regional.
Kobo, one last ditch effort. Can he get a clip in there? He's denied anything to his name except for the win in this game, and they're on match point right here. They only need 1 more.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that at the start of this event, if you had told me Team Bliss would be one of the teams making the top 4, I would have been in shock. Oof. They're now 1 game away from doing it. Granted, I kind of would have said the same thing about Wildcard, right? Both of these teams in a very unique position to set themselves up for a fantastic winter split. Bliss could be the team that does it, and I feel like because of Bliss's playstyle, Hyperia, if they do find that success, if they do make this top 4, they're almost more likely to have a more consistent run just because of how different they seem to be approaching the game.
Exactly. It's a playstyle that if you hammer it home and keep on practicing it, making sure that everybody's on board with it, because as soon as one falls out of line, it will crumble in its entirety. But Team Bliss seems to be on exactly a parallel line, a parallel thinking way of how they want to approach this. And this pinch, I didn't even actually notice it was a pinch.
Yeah, it was so well synergized and so well pushed through. And the thing about Team Bliss as well, because they're approaching the game from what it appears to be so different from a lot of these other teams, it means that when other teams practice and scrim, they're less likely to be prepared, I suppose, for what Bliss is kind of throwing at them. And that's kind of that extra advantage I was trying to hint at. Like, Bliss could be that strange sort of obscure team that kind of sneaks its way through into a few high results. I mean, they find a win tomorrow. If they win, assuming they win this series outright, they find a win tomorrow, all of a sudden top 3, all of a sudden they're looking to compete for the major.
It's looking good for them in this initial phase. Again, that major is miles away, but this is indeed a perfect start, because a team like for Caden, for example, that was a ridiculous shot. They go fast, they go quick, you know exactly what to expect. Just expect a bunch of kids diving at your play every single time. Oh my! With Team Bliss, you actually have the exact opposite, almost an own goal in there.
That would have been nearly on par with Express's own goal earlier today.
Express's own goal was brilliant. It was a display.
Express's own goal was amazing.
Not only the people can shout.
It was a good one. It was a good one. Look, OC, we deliver when it comes to own goals. All right, I'm a little bit disappointed actually that Vortex didn't put that one through.
Yeah, he's not doing the true OC way, but that's entirely their playstyle. Not doing the any way really. Make up your own way and do it the best way you can. They're pulling that off to perfection.
However, so far in this 5th game, I have to admit, it has been Wildcard on that attack. I mean, this entire opening minute and a half feels like it's been on the blue side of the pitch. Zen finally is able to slow it down, tries to flick it over Sicky, but unable to get the height. Vortex just breaks up that double commit attempt. Ben, though, still gets it to the backboard. Wildcard giving no quarter to Bliss right now. They want to get physical. They want to get in their face. They also want to dish down that pass to Sicky, caught by Cabo.
They always relinquish it to a teammate. Wildcard, they often are in that position. Caveman Ben goes solo. The tap 4 was a tad too far, and we're going to have to back off. Mock almost driving in the way of Sicky, all the way back to that defensive 16. It's just, I don't know. This feels like a very weird game. I'm not too sure whether I'm the only one in it.
It feels like Wildcard just unable to find that gap in the Bliss defense. They play so far back, but they're so consistent in finding those first touches that even though Wildcard's applying that pressure, nothing is really able to stick. And now Bliss, they finally get to play a little bit of offense themselves. It looks like Mockett's going to have to try to find that clear across the middle of the field. It actually does beat Cabo out. Sicky had a look, but Zen again off that backboard just shut the play down before it even started.
It's a standard away. Zen, flip reset not coming through.
Reset?
Or actually in the end he will in the end. At some point in that flip reset, it's always not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Yeah, Zen can freestyle with some of the best of them. Do not discredit Zen one-on-one or one-on-none with the ball. You're going to see something special, as we've already seen a couple times today. Not going to see it there, though. That's an awkward touch. Vortex there to kind of bail Zen out. Siki, though, will still be the one with possession. This time, Zen gets a nice 50 and clears it all the way back to the wildcard side of the field.
That wildcard side has been heavily dominated at times, but this time they've been able to keep a clear sheet for the start of this game. 90 seconds left. It's a complete deadlock, a armistice agreed upon by both teams to just go to overtime.
Yeah, we could be seeing that 0-0 overtime. I've been waiting for one all day, Hyperia. I think we're due. And this would be a good game to do it. This could be the last chance, realistically, I'd get to call it. So why not see it happen here? I mean, Wildcard's going to try to play spoiler, but Vortex intercepts it away.
Vortex still in control. Pass to the centers in there with the finish, and at least it won't be an 0-0 overtime. Wildcard need to put in a shift.
Every time I think this is the one, every time I think this is going to be the game, someone's got to break up the hopes and dreams, and this time it was a duo effort. Team Bliss connecting on a great pass inside the box, up 1-0, a minute remaining. If they hold on, they're going top 4 at minimum. This Team Bliss, I believe the number 7 seed coming into this one, have made themselves a run to remember. Wildcard still trying to play spoiler.
Wildcard, of course, they're going to put in a shift to change it and change the tides. Long clear over the top. Mock reaches it first, but the pass not quite connecting to one of his teammates. Kobo thus being able to set up an attack. Flip for yourself. Of course he has that. Not pulled off.
Not over yet. Mock, though, still is going to find Ben across the middle, and that's going to create a bit of space. Cabo, it's a bit of an awkward touch. Mock stays with it. Pass back down to Ben. However, Siki was not in position. Quarter of a minute left. Vortex does lose possession. Back over to Wildcard. Siki to Mock. Ben underneath. Doesn't have a lot of boost to work with, but needs to make it count. Does not find the shot. Cabo steals it away. Team Bliss advance to the loser semifinal.
An impossible position there for Siki. You drive in, the ball goes into no man's land. You wait, this is the result. Impossible, unfortunate ending for Wildcard there to just drop against Team Bliss. It was a up and down series, I feel like, for Wildcard. Bliss were just popping off at every turn.
I mean, if you want a series to see what Team Bliss is all about,